President Cyril Ramaphosa has paid tribute to the fallen police officers who lost their lives in the line of duty between April 2021 and March 2022. The wreath-laying ceremony took place at the SAPS Memorial Site in Pretoria. Zanele Ngumbela was there for us.
The bereaved families of 33 police officers who lost their lives in the line of duty have laid their wreaths at the SAPS Memorial Site at the Union Buildings in Pretoria. These fallen heroes have been remembered and honored with the final salute, with the national flag lowered at half-mast as a sign of respect and mourning.
We are gathered here today to remember, but also to salute and commemorate 33 brave men and women who were killed while serving the country between the dates of the 1st of April 2021 and 31st of March 2022. We do this to pay tribute to those who had laid their lives in the line of duty, making sure that South Africans are safe, feel safe, and are protected.
Ramaphosa also condemned the killing of police officers, saying it's an attack to the country's democracy.
No society can remain silent when criminals have clearly declared war on the police. Our men and women in blue represent the authority of the state, and any attack on them is a direct attack on the state, but it is also an attack on the people of South Africa.
For the oath he took and for the bravery to protect and serve, the widow of late Captain Pia Marks says her husband was passionate about his job.
You know, he was a very dedicated, committed police member since I've known him like 31 years ago. Always committed, always going the extra mile. And since he joined the Search and Rescue section at K9, that was a passion to help communities and get closure for looking for missing persons and the drownees and stuff like that. So, yeah, he was very committed.
However, for the Mpho family, the death of their loved one, Constable Mpho, a year ago, still cuts deep, as the family says they are still battling to come to terms with his death.
Yeah,
Ramaphosa further issued a stern warning to those responsible for the killings of police officers.
If criminals bother to read history, they must know that no one has ever defeated the people. Those responsible for police killings who have not yet been arrested must know that wherever they are, they will be found and they will face the full might of the law.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has called on the police to transform their sorrow and anger at the deaths of their colleagues into a sense of determination to rid the streets of all forms of crime.
Around the commemoration, we are now joined by Mpho Kwinika, the General Secretary of the Independent Police Union of South Africa. Mr. Kwinika, good evening, and thanks so much for your time and joining us tonight here on In Focus. Have we done an in-depth analysis involving line of duty deaths, and have we ascertained as to actually what is happening? How do we make policing safe? I mean, 33 officers in 12 months certainly sounds quite severe. I mean, policing, we know, is a very dangerous profession, but these circumstances are becoming more and more a trend and prevalent. Good evening.
Good evening, Thabo and South Africans. I think today, as we mark, or commemorate the death of police officers that are killed, whether on duty or even off duty. This kind of future have less numbers than the ones that we're having. Today we learned that 33 of our police officers are killed, whether on or off duty. If you look at in the world, and especially in Britain, I think the Prime Minister of Britain lamented the killing of one cop in more than 30 years in Manchester. We would love in South Africa to see less numbers of police officers and not even one being killed on or off duty.
Yeah, one would say the best way to honor the fallen officers is to stop the falling. So are we responding adequately to the hazards in our policing?
Look, I think more than 4 years ago, the president of this country have lamented on the killings of police officers. If I recall very well, he went on to say that parliamentarians must start debating on ways and means of trying to make sure that our police officers are protected. We still are to see those kind of debates taking place in our country. We all understand that South Africa is a newly developing country when it comes to issues of democracy, and that South Africa is coming from the painful past where police officers were viewed as the people who have been assisting, in the previous government of which was responsible for oppressing our people. And I think post-1994, South Africa should change its attitude and see this institution as the institution of peace, the institution of making sure that South Africans are and they feel safe.
Yeah. In terms of police practices, I mean, are there things that you think would need to change? For example, you mentioned the UK, also some studies showing in the United States, for example, the use of body armor has really been quite successful in the reduction of on-duty deaths, but also much better police-citizen interchanges is something that has been cited as one of those things. I mean, is there some work that we could do in terms of our police practices?
I think South Africa needs to move towards ensuring that we make sure that we utilize technology to make sure that we protect our own men and women in blue. Currently, our police officers are scared to utilize, the force that is prescribed in terms of the law, in terms of Section 49. They are very scared to do that. Why? Because South Africans winch when this is being used against the criminals. But recently we have learned that South Africans are yearning for a stronger police service, a service that can use force to make sure that criminals are brought to justice. And we were very much worried about that as the union, because then a new debate in South Africa need to take place. The debate to say the right to life, in terms of Section 35 of the Constitution, is it absolute? Is it absolute? Section 36 says it limits the right of people, those who infringe on the rights of the others. If you take the life of the other person, where does the law comes in to say those who have taken the lives of the people, how do we as government, limit those rights? It's a debate that we need to take, which need to take place as the time goes on. But we have learned that South Africans are yearning for more and a very robust South African Police Service.
Yeah. Mr. Kwinika, break it down for me. As we speak, there's a 72-hour manhunt for people who went into the Mpumalanga police station there and robbed the police of their firearms. And we've been, talking about this at a much more higher level, but not going deeper into actually understanding what would happen. Some people anecdotally suggesting, well, we need security guards for the police. I mean, which in itself, you would think, why would you need a security guard for police? Because police are supposed to be security themselves. What do you make of this robbing of police stations? I mean, take a deep dive and give me your analysis there.
Let's go back to the issue of Mpho. When the new Minister of Police just took office, I remember very well, or vividly clear in my mind, that he flew from Western Cape after it had been sworn in. He flew into Mpho in the Eastern Cape when police officers were murdered, in cold blood. They were killed there. He arrived there and he said, our responsibility as the government is to make sure that our police officers are protected. Our police stations have got cameras. Our police stations are secured to make sure that our people are safe. And I'm referring to police officers. We still are to see those actions taking place into police stations because country, you will see that we still lack, security against these criminals. So the criminals who went into Mpumalanga police station, it tells you that the criminals are acting with impunity. The criminals are doing these things without any fear, from the law. And these actions are called the premeditated actions. And the government and law should make sure that these people, when they are caught, that harsher sentences are meted out against them. So we as the union are very much worried about these issues because we need to make sure that whoever is caught doing these things, that they are meted, they meet the mightiest law of this country.
That's the General Secretary of the Independent Policing Union of South Africa, Mpho Kwinika. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming on.